Hi, welcome to Earth and Sky. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. This week, Angelica asked me if I wanted to step up and possibly do the live talk. And my, of course, first reaction was, no, I don't. I really, really don't. Being in front of everybody, being in front of the camera and stuff, man, fear, you know. But as I was sitting there thinking about it, I was, first it was like, no way. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, why do I get so afraid? Why is there so much fear? And then I was really thinking about a lot of our friends, and we've actually had this conversation quite a bit lately, about our friends going through a lot of major stuff, a lot of things in their life, a lot of major life changes that are happening, a lot of major life situations that are happening to them. There are some that have these situations that are they have no real control over, like health issues, stuff to their body, stuff to their mind, cancer type things, stuff that you're thrown into, right? And then there are ones that are facing other life changes, because the only constant, of course, in life is change. And as these things are changing, they're not sure what to do. There's of course there's fear, because we're always afraid of what change, and whether it's changing jobs or moving. Or dealing with people that they care about that are going through these changes can bring these same things. So the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, so specifically in my situation, fear this, how am I going to overcome this? How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to make it? And so I kind of went back and thought about all of the stuff in my life I've dealt with large situations, large life changes. When Angela and I decided to move out to Michigan, all of that really brought a lot, because it was kind of the spur of the moment, And so the real questions that I think that to nail down, how do we deal with this? How do we get a hold of this? How do we put things in perspective that helps us? And some of the real questions that I came up with was like, what's the outcome that you're looking for? What's the outcome that you want? Now, some of them are basic, you want to get better, you want to make it through surgery, you want, whatever, but specifically, because even in stuff that isn't your choice, that you're going through, even if it's not your choice, you still have choices. You have choices of how you deal with things. You have choices on sometimes the fact of having a choice whether to do or not do a major thing, like if you want to go in and have a specific surgery for something to be fixed, changed, cut out, whatever. If you're going through that, just knowing and bringing to the forefront the idea that that's a choice sometimes can help make you feel like you're under a little bit more control than what than what it feels like in the moment. Another question you really should bring up is, who are the people that are actually on my side in this situation? Who are the people that have, that would support me, that have my back, would be honest with me, things like that. And of course, is it worth the stress and overcoming the fear to do whatever the situation is? Now, that can be a little more specific to things that we have a little more choice in, but it still, holds true. Now, before we tackle approaching those questions and how to answer them, we need to consider the fact that in our subconscious, when we're afraid, our subconscious has a tendency to take control, and we can react to things, and in a way where we don't realize our subconscious is tweaking our perspective. Now, I think most of us, in a lot of situations, most situations I would even say, probably we notice when we get really anxious and so we react in a certain way. We get stressed out and we react in a certain way. Everybody's a little different, everybody reacts differently, everybody notices it differently. But there are a lot of times where we think we see what's going on and we may not. From the outside it may be a lot more obvious. But we don't think that it's just fear making these decisions. We don't think it's the fear that is twisting so that we see the world in a certain way. And I thought I'd just go over some of the signs that if you notice these things happening, if you reacting in a certain way that normally isn't your normal state of being, that it might be fear twisting your perspective, and it's not actually the world just kind of coming down on you, or people working against you, or that feeling sometimes when you just feel like, why is the world making it so much harder on me than it normally is? And so some of those things, of course, are like if you notice yourself lashing out at people, the yelling at people that are close to you. Usually it's ones that are close to you that you're around all the time. But also, if you find yourself snipping at strangers, God, why did they do? Why wouldn't they do that? Why didn't they think of that? Why, things like that. And if you catch yourself just being in a relatively bad mood with people over a longer period of time than you think of, those are like the lashings. We're just going to call that generally lashing out at people. All those little symptoms now. And then there's also, of course, feeling like people are making life out to be more difficult than they normally do. If you feel like sometimes people are either being like sabotaging, like why would you do that? Why would you leave that on the stairs? Why wouldn't you feed the dog? Why wouldn't you, that you feel like they're sort of sabotaging your day, or being just, more careless than they normally are. That it may not be them. It may be that it seems like they are because you're so stressed, you really wish they would have done those things, but it's that, it's your subconscious is reaching out for things to grab hold of because it's freaking out. Now, one of the things that I've noticed people do is if they expect people to be different than they normally are, whether, like in that instance, maybe you're expecting them to be more thoughtful than they normally would be, or to be more caring, or to be around more, or to be, anything that, if you start expecting people to be different than they've always been, and then if you look at it and go, wait a minute, why would I think that? They've never done that before. That can be a sign. And then, of course, the one that I think we all do, depending on the situation at times, a little bit of avoiding, right? If you're not answering phone calls that you normally answer, that one phone call that you just keep forgetting to make, that has to do with things moving forwards, that has to do with setting that appointment, that has to do with those phone calls that really needed to be done, avoiding. Or avoiding people in general, certain people, that whether it's specific to the situation, or avoiding not wanting to go outside, things like that, and not doing things that you would usually do as avoiding. People you normally go hang out with, patterns that you normally do, whether it's going to, if you usually go to a specific restaurant, you suddenly stop, things like that. And of course then depression is, I think we all know, a way of fear can just bear down on us so much, we get so depressed. And that depression doesn't have to be overwhelming, but it can be. There are times, you wake up and you just go, I just can't do this anymore. I can't fight this. I can't do it because I don't have the energy. I just can't. That depression can hold you, and what that does is it guarantees that you don't want to have enough energy to move forwards. And if you don't have enough energy to move forwards, you don't have to deal. You think, subconsciously, you think you don't have to deal. Now, all of those, of course, are huge red flags. And those red flags are telling you something's going on that you don't want to deal with, that you either need to deal with, should be dealing with, or have to deal with at some point in the not too distant future. Those red flags, if you realize, you know what, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. Now, the first part of that is, one thing that I always say about all of those things, pretty much across the board, by nature, we want things to stay where we're comfortable. We want things to stay as they are in this moment, right this second. It's rare that people are, hey, something different? Cool, let's go do that. Usually it's, hey, something different? Or now we're talking about big change, big life, shift. It's different. It's huge, and it's different. Yeah, no. And just recognizing that what I'm trying to do with all of that, people aren't trying to sabotage you. You're not actually as depressed probably as you think you are. You're afraid, but it's manifesting as fear. It's manifesting as depression. The fear is manifesting as depression. It is manifesting as anger. You're so afraid, so it's like, get away from me! Oh my God! Anger. Depression, anxiety, hiding, all of those things are fear first, turn into. But when you go, you know what? But it's fear. I'm not depressed, I'm afraid. I'm not angry, I'm afraid. I'm not worried about seeing people, I'm not worried about making that call. I'm afraid. And when you kind of bring it back in and you recognize it, sometimes just that can really give you the ability to go, okay, all right. People aren't messing with me. The world isn't as bad as I'm feeling like it is. I'm just afraid. And I'll get through this. There will be tomorrow, So the questions that we asked, as I had said, what's the outcome we want? It's going to get us through this. Who's on my side? And is it worth the stress and overcoming the fear to do this thing? What is the outcome you want? Now, of course, there's the easy ones. I want to make it through the surgery. I want to make it through till tomorrow. I want to make it through the situation or whatever. So those are, the ones that are kind of happening to us, the outcome's kind of obvious. But in those specific situations, like I said, recognizing that you have choices. The outcome I want is I want to get through it, and on the back end of the surgery, I'm hoping that the pain is minimal. If there's, let's say, physical therapy that goes with the surgery, if I get into this physical therapy, I really want to be able to push and go. I want to use it to, I want to use the physical therapy to start a workout regimen so I get stronger and I'm actually better at the end of this than I was before I began. I might lose weight, I might get stronger, I might be healthier, I might, quit smoking, whatever it is. Use it to make other choices. Use it to your advantage. Those choices that you take where you feel like something is happening to you and you don't have a choice in the matter, if you have a cancer situation, use it to change part of your lifestyle if you want. But use it to understand that you do have choices in what's happening. There's an outcome you want. Use that outcome. Use that outcome to rearrange the point of view that you have on the situation. Use it to not just be, I'm living through this and I'm going to make it to the end. Now, who's on my side? Oh, and what the outcome, sorry. And then the other ones, of course. If you are, let's say you're going to be moving from one house to another. If you aren't sure you want to do that, why would I want to do it? What's the outcome? If the outcome is I want that move, you make sure you do all of the things to make sure that happens. If you are going to if you were going to move and you became depressed about it, and you think, you know what, it's just too much work, and I don't want to handle it, and it's just going to shut me down, and it's, you know, what am I really gaining? And that's the depression talk. That's where the depression can take you, and now that goal that you're trying to accomplish now becomes so much further and so much more work. And what you're doing is you're talking yourself out of it so that you don't have to change. But the only constant in life is change. If you're going to, I think you understand, set that goal. What is the outcome that is going to work for me, and why do I want to get there? Why is this changing, and what am I getting out of it? What's the best part for me? And make those choices in a way that's actually promoting, not just getting there, but getting there in a way that is better. Who's on my side is an important one to consider, because first, it gives you a list of people of who you should actually listen to. We have a bad tendency we start to listen to people that mirror what we're thinking in the moment. So if in the moment you're kind of avoiding and someone says, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea, you should stay where you're at. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, that surgery could kill you. And you just go, that's kind of what I'm feeling, and that sounds pretty good. But if they're not on the list of people that have your back, if they're not on the list of people that you should be considering, that is not one of the ideas that you should follow. The people that have your back, that want the best for you, those are the ones that you listen to. Now, if at the time you're going, I don't want to do this because this thing's going to suck, and the people that are on your list go, yeah, but there's not really, you know, you need to do it. The outcome is only positive. Yes, there's a risk, but there's a risk with everything, and there's always a risk with everything. But the only thing that's forever is things are going to change. And so, you know, those people can help you sustain a reasonable point of view, something that's actually in your favor, something that's going to move you forward, something that's going to make your life better. It will also help you give, the point of view that will help you start your planning process. Sometimes in that fear we can get locked down and we stop the ability to plan for new things. We stop the ability to shift our point of view, and it's these other people's point of view that have your back, that are caring about you, that are going to help you shift that point of view and go, oh, actually this could be a good thing. Oh, this could be even better than I thought. Oh my God, I could take this and make so much more out of it than just this one thing. I could change my life. But sometimes you need someone there saying, hey, did you think of this? Did you think how much better it could be? Did you think how great it was? And you say, no, because I was really afraid and I didn't want to think of anything. And so that's what those people can do. That's what that list is for. Now, one of the tricks is the people that you think of on that list, if those are the people you're avoiding, because you're afraid and you start avoiding, stop avoiding the people on the list. Go, reach out to them. Tell them you need to talk to them. Tell you need their help, because we all need help sometimes. We all need someone to listen to us, to give us feedback. And one of the things that I've learned, and it still blows my mind, is that it seems like so few people have someone that's willing to take so few people seem to have someone that will sit there and just, I don't know how else to say it, just tell them the truth. Just go. They go, hey, I really want to do this. I really want to move in with this person, and I want to know, what do you think? And they say, that's a horrible idea. That's a horrible idea. Where you live now works so great for you. It's closer to work, da, 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 da. And moving there, is because you like them more, and you're hoping you can date their sister or something. I don't know. But they don't. Honesty. I really think I need to get this surgery, but I'm afraid. Well, you kind of absolutely should get this surgery because it will do so much more for you, and it will extend your life. It will extend your health, and it will be a pain in the ass while you're going through it, but you should do it. And when I sit and I talk with them, mind you, at the same time, I have lost friends because I just tell them what I think because they ask. And but most of my friends that is something that they say happens to be one of my better qualities now. And there are definitely people that think it's not one of my better qualities. But I just, everybody should have at least one person that's willing to just go, have you thought of this? This is probably a good idea. And is willing to just kind of lay it out there. This is what I think in its most blunt form. And then if the person is like, I'm adamant, this is what I want, then they'll be happy for them. But, nothing changes. There are things that will probably be good for you. There are things that will probably be bad for you. And we have a tendency in our own lives, absolutely me included, and I'm thankful in the sense that I have multiple people that are willing to tell me exactly what they think, and I love it because I kind of know exactly where I stand all the time in my life. But to have those people open up and be honest can change your life. I digress. Those people are the ones that you need to hold on to, the ones that are willing to be honest with you, that will be direct, and that care more about you than their own, what they think, their own benefit, loss kind of point of view, And then the last question, of course, is it worth the stress and overcoming the fear to do it? Actually asking yourself that, just literally asking yourself that. Putting that in the front of your mind. Is this worth all of the stress and the fear that I'm putting up with to do this thing? And the answer is usually yes, because we are really easily afraid a lot of times. But when it comes down to it, you are the only one that can answer that question. You are the only one that can walk through it and make the decisions to either make it happen or not. And again, even things that are going to happen to us, most of the time, you have a choice in how this thing plays out. You may not always have a choice about, the boulder rolling over you, but you have a lot of choices that go with it. All of the stuff that happens to us in our lives, a lot of it, we have no say in if it's going to happen or not, but we have so much say in what we do with it, before, during, and after. How it affects us, how we grow and are beaten by it. I know that I've had multiple situations in my life that just were emotionally overwhelming pretty much every single day. And during it, I was just like, how much more can I take? And it beats on you, and it beats on you, and it beats on you, and it beats on you. And then all of a sudden, one day you realize, I not only made it through that, but I chose to embrace it, and it could make you stronger. And then you can find out it also can affect you, in ways that you don't know. But all you can do is do the very best with what you have. And that's what these questions do, as I'm hoping, is give you the ability to do a little bit more and understand a little bit more and do a little bit more with the world in a way that gives you more power to engage it. And then from there, it's one foot in front of the other. You just one foot in front of the other. Because moving forwards and engaging the change really is the only choice that we have. So I hope you like this week's Live Talk, and I don't know, I hope it gave you something to kind of guide you through some of these major life changes. If you are going through major life changes too, like a lot of our friends, like a lot of us, like I think we all are at some point. And hope you have a great week, and see you next week.